Okay, so it's 9 a.m. Here, 4 p.m. in Vienna. Let's begin. Um, Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, everyone, depending where you are joining us from around the world. Welcome to the third session of our Emerging Nuclear Technologies webinar series, proudly hosted by Women in Nuclear Innovation and Wind for Peace, groups of expertise of Wind Global. Today's program brings together leading voices to explore how advanced technologies are reshaping the nuclear sector. Before we continue, we would like just to describe a little bit about both groups of expertise. So let me begin with WINI. WINI was launched in September 2021 under the framework of the partnership between Wind Global and World Nuclear Association, being Dr. Sama Bilbao Leon, the godmother of WINI initiative, and WINI aims to promote and strengthen the involvement of women in innovation and to enhance the attractiveness of nuclear energy as an innovative and cutting-edge technology sector, especially for the next generation. Through different activities like webinars, workshops, panels, and discussions and training courses, we boost the role of nuclear innovation and technology for the future of the energy sector, promote public understanding, and raise the sector's profile. The group has currently 22 group members representing different regions of the world. The events are open and announced on social media and by email, and they are open to everyone. Recordings of past events are available on the Wind Global YouTube channel. So now let me hand over to Mrs. Eva Gianni, Wind Global Technical Leader and Wind for Peace Leader as well. Mrs. Eva, over to you, please.
Thank you very much, Florencia. Good afternoon from Vienna and welcome to our webinar, the third one in our series. I would like to thank Florencia for organizing this event and to our speakers for making their time available and to Carla for moderating this webinar. So my name is Eva Can and I'm the technical leader of Wind Global, coordinating the activities of our expert groups. We have 10 so far. One of them is WINI, another one is Wind for Peace, which I am leading. My group was established in 2023 with the objective to bring more women into the areas of nuclear non-proliferation safeguards, export controls and disarmament. And we do this by educating ourselves through webinars and workshops. We currently have more than 30 members from 4 continents. And we have 2 supporters. One is the United Nations Office for Disarmament Affairs, and the other one is the Vienna Center for Disarmament and Non-Proliferation. We also upload our webinars to our YouTube channel, so you can check out all our previous webinars, no matter on which subject area on YouTube. And once you have registered, you will be invited to future webinars also by email, and there are announcements on social media. So without further ado, back to you, Florencia and Carla. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Eva. Wonderful introduction about Wind for Peace activities, and we welcome everyone also to join and follow up the activities of the rest of the groups of expertise of Wind Global. So before we start, I'm Florencia Renteria from Mexico. I'm a PhD in nuclear science and technology and former IA fellow for the Technical Cooperation Department, supporting nuclear power infrastructure capacity building programs in member states and one of the innovation co-leaders of the group. So as part of the Women in Nuclear Innovation and Wind for Peace initiative, our goal is to foster dialogue on innovation, safety, and sustainability in nuclear energy. Artificial intelligence and digital twins are no longer futuristic concepts. They are practical tools driving efficiency, predictive maintenance, and smarter decision-making in nuclear power plants worldwide. We are honored to have distinguished experts from us today, Nelly Kubelwa from the International Atomic Energy Agency, who will share insights on AI implementation and considerations for deploying these technologies in nuclear power, and Christine Lee from the Electric Power Research Institute, who will be discussing unlocking the potential of large language models and advanced AI infrastructure. Thank you for joining us in this important conversation, and we encourage you to engage actively during the Q&A session and share your perspectives. Together, we can shape a future where innovation strengthens nuclear safety and performance globally. So this is our program for today. And now I'd like to introduce our moderator. Carla Kwiatkowski is the Senior Coordinator of Research and Development Innovation in New Business Development and one of the Winnie co-leaders. So Carla is a renewed leader in the clean energy sector with over 20 years of experience in innovation, business development, and strategic program management. She built a distinguished career at Latin America's largest clean energy and nuclear utilities, Electrobras and Electronuclear, where she spearheaded transformative initiatives such as the region's first nuclear hydrogen project, the coordination of innovative business models for nuclear power plants, and the design of a pioneering policy framework to advance small modular reactors. As coordinator of ABNAN's supply chain Development Committee, Carla connects key national and international players to strengthen the nuclear sector. On the global stage, she has been collaborating with leading institutions, including the World Bank, IEA, Mercosur, to drive forward impactful initiatives, and committed youth mentor and advocate for diversity in STEM. She is passionate about empowering future leaders, advancing innovation, and championing global collaboration. So Carla, we're very happy to have you today moderating this event, and please, over to you.
Thank you very much, Florencia. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. I'm so glad we are doing this webinar because this conversation is timely and important for our community. As I see, innovation in nuclear isn't just about new reactors. It is about smarter systems, better decisions, and safer operations powered by data and AI as well. And in that spirit, we will start with the IAEA on responsible AI deployment in plant system, and then connect it to WEPRI's insights on using large language models for real-time decision support. So for today's flow, as Florencia mentioned, we will have 2 talks followed by a Q&A session. And it would be good if you post the questions in the chat during the presentations at any time. And during the Q&A session, you can also raise your hand and speak live, include your organization and the country is appreciated as well. And I'd like to introduce the first speaker today, Nelly Ngoy Kibela. And she's a nuclear engineer and instrumentation control at the IAEA Nuclear Power Engineering Section. She leads INC activities and the AI working group under the ISOC network, and brings 14 years of prior experience at Tractebel, ENGIE in design assessment, compliance, EUR requirements, obsolescence management, and LTO. Nelly, thank you very much for joining us today. The floor is yours.
So thank you. Can you hear me well online? Okay. Could you confirm that you can see my screen?
We can.
Okay. Perfect. So thank you very much for the opportunity. So today I'm joining to share information about what we are doing at the agency regarding the deployment of AI in nuclear power plants. And also I will cover mainly our recent publication that was released in September this year. So it's about the considerations for deploying AI in nuclear power industry. So the journey on AI started at the agency in 2021 during the pandemic. So we had a huge virtual technical meeting organized to kind of understand what was AI and where it has been deployed up to now. So what we did is we had all the departments of the agency involved in this technical meeting. We started the investigation, and at the end of this, we published our very first publication on AI. This publication gathers the different areas where AI could be deployed. And it also helped us to have some observation to really start our journey on AI. So then we created a network on innovation. So it is the International Network on Innovation to Support Operating Plants. And within under the auspice of this network, we have created several working groups. The pioneer one is on AI. So currently we have a working group on AI, working group on robotics and drones, advanced manufacturing, and we have launched recently a working group on next generation of INC. So we are trying to gather the different profiles working in nuclear, so the different stakeholders, utilities, regulators, vendors, university and research institutes, national labs, and also the other organizations. Why? Because we want to avoid repeating exactly the same effort. So we believe that we would be serving better the member states if we are partnering with some other organizations. And this network is very active on LinkedIn. So we are really trying to support the member states in the different challenges they are facing. And we are conducting webinars. And I will cover it later. We have awards program. So regarding the AI working group, we try to gather all the relevant sections department within the IAEA. So we have the safety assessment section involved, the security aspects are covered by the division of security, the knowledge management is involved, the decommissioning, and also the technology development section focusing more on R&D, not yet deployed technologies. Our current chair is from Idaho National Lab. So it's Mr. Vivek Agarwal. And it's a very inclusive group. So we are not only accepting members, we are not only accepting members from the operating member states. So we are inclusive. We are welcoming any members from any member state, but within the IAEA. We want to enhance the collaborations and networking opportunities and support and facilitate the deployment of AI, but considering the 3S of safety, security, and safeguards. Currently, the group is pretty big. We have more than 120 members from more than 20 member states. And recently, we released our very first publication on AI. So it is the first publication from this working group also. So a big difference compared to the other publications is the list of authors. So if you look at the list, it's pretty long because we really wanted to make an investigation on what is currently available in order to identify the benefits. So we wanted to have like a quantitative information more than qualitative information when possible. We wanted to identify the different areas where AI have been developed and included in the publication. So of course the list is not exhaustive, but we actually wanted to show, let's say, the main type of applications currently deployed. We did not cover R&D. So the life cycle management of AI. We covered also data considerations as AI is data centric. And then we finished with what we called other considerations, but I will detail it a little bit later, and the path forward. So we really used this working group in two ways. We had the authors providing the content and the reviewers. So the publication has five main sections. So the benefit, regarding the benefit. So we, as I said, we provided this overview of generic area of capabilities, also focusing on deployed applications. So when we look at the landscape, the landscape at the time we released this, so we had the main applications in teaching and learning, monitoring and diagnostics, text analytics using LLMs, so large language models, assistant to non-destructive evaluation, inspection, so full diagnostic predictive maintenance, operational decision support, online monitoring, and also online monitoring of state of sensors, and nuclear safeguards application. So we opened the path to applications for future plants, but we did not really cover it because we did not have enough information to demonstrate the claims. But it is something that is at our desk and we are considering for future work. So then once we had this list of applications, we focused on the business value of AI, and we highlighted it in the publication. So most of, in this slide, I have listed the business value that has been, let's say, demonstrated in many cases. So the time saving. So the AI is really helping organization in facilitating access to data and also trend analysis. So, and it can be used in the case of predictive maintenance and condition-based maintenance. Another aspect is the cost, because the anomalies are detected earlier thanks to some applications, so it helps to adapt the response earlier. So they actually notice that they can take actions earlier than during let's say unplanned outages, and also it can help reducing the number of personnel on site. So another important business value is increased operational efficiency. So it helps to identify faster the issues and also identify areas of potential improvements. And also regarding the efficiency with AI, it helps reducing the number of time that actually an operator has to repeat an activity. So AI can take over this kind of repetitive activities. So another value is regarding the operational reliability. So it can be used as support for humans and maybe compensates some of the weaknesses of humans, especially when it comes to fatigue after long rotations or distraction. AI can help also with communication and enhancing platforms, and also it can support decision making. AI can also be used in, let's say, operational performance, so enhancing supply chains, IT services performance. Also, it can help to draft report faster and potentially safety benefits. So we believe that it can enhance health and safety through insight from historical data. Sorry. So after that, we focused on AI systems themselves. So the lifecycle management of AI systems. We focused on the design, the development, and the deployment, and also cover the infrastructure needs. So for each of those phases that we have covered, we try to highlight what is important. So for the design, so how to have this AI problem statement, because AI has to answer to something. So how can we really establish it, for designing it correctly. And then the models. So how to select the right models. Models are evolving, so how to train those models. The risk reduction, the human factors considerations, as we are still far away from autonomy, cybersecurity, and also potentially the connection to the cloud, because this amount of data has to be stored somewhere. So cloud is still a challenge. Regarding the development, so quality assurance, verification and validation, qualifications are still open items. So repeatability, open source, proprietary, because either some organizations are developing their own applications or some others are using pre-existing AI applications. So what would be the difference, and what would it imply? Also the training of algorithms and metrics. So for the deployment, AI has to be deployed in an environment, and in the case of the operating plants, the infrastructure is influencing and limiting sometimes the possibilities when we compare to what could be done with new plants. So also the change management, how to handle the change management for an AI application, the workforce training and maintenance and of those AI systems. So we have identified those and covered them in the publication. We had a full section focusing on data considerations. So as AI relies heavily on data, so accuracy of those data, completeness, consistency, relevance of the data is very important, because you cannot use all the data during all the phases and for the same purpose. So it's really important to have a robust data governance. And also there are aspects really important, like the data source, the data integrity. So in the publication, we try to define the concept of fitness for usage regarding the data, and also we highlighted the importance of data sharing. So there are benefits, but also big challenges, like the data privacy, the security. So there are several barriers that has to be overcome. And currently there is no standard data format, data protocol. So how can we make sure when we have this data sharing that we will have it the way we want to have it, as we have so many formats? The last section is focusing on what we call further consideration. So at the beginning, we wanted to call it regulatory considerations, but the current position, there is no common position. So we went in, let's say, different directions. So we decided simply to call it further consideration. So the first thing that we wanted to highlight in this section is the need for a regulatory preparation for AI. So we gave the example of the three regulatory body who drafted the trilateral paper. Also, another very important consideration is human factors. So how to balance the AI autonomy with human oversight, also given the fact that even if we are sometimes thinking that human oversight is the solution, humans make mistakes, and we have to consider it. So the training of the personnel, and also another important aspect is the lack of trust and the skill loss. So the impact of AI on knowledge management and impact of AI on human factors engineering. So to qualify this AI systems, risk assessment is important. So actually for evaluating those risks, it's really important to know what could be wrong, and once something went wrong, what are the consequences of those failures. We highlighted also the needs maybe for a graded approach. There is discussion on explainability in the publication. However, we did not conclude that explainability would be the key for qualification. So it is a feature that could help, but the risks are the main, the most important aspect to consider. And then also another recommendation, but it was coming from the regulators involved in our working group, was really to start the regulatory engagement as soon as possible. So it is really important to understand that as much as the practitioners are trying to understand AI, the regulators do too. So it will facilitate that maybe the communication if they learn earlier what you are doing. So another thing that we wanted to cover and is not really linked to the development of AI solutions is really the business value. So it's really clear that even if it is improving performance, etc., it's really important to demonstrate the clear economic benefits when considering deploying AI, and also the organizational readiness. So besides the infrastructure, so it's really important to make sure that the stakeholders who would be using these are trained enough, and then put in place mechanism for engagement and collaboration. And then another topic that is really important is ethics, public acceptance, and user acceptance, because there is some resistance within the industry. Some stakeholders are maybe considering AI as a threat because it can replace their job, and see that maybe AI will simply transform the way we are working, but would be complementary because we are far away from autonomy. We are, AI is still a tool used by humans. And then another thing that we identified but did not cover is like continuous monitoring and maintenance. So how, let's say, the models are regularly updated. So how can we validate this model? So we did not have a real discussion on the models, but it is something that we have identified and something that we are considering for subsequent projects. So in parallel, we wanted to have some training activities. So as some of you may know, we have this collaborating center at Purdue University. So we started the first joint IAEA ICTP workshop on AI last year, and this year in March, and we are considering continuing training activities next year. Also, we have updated the roadmap of the working group. So currently, we are working based on the 9 recommendations on your right-hand side. And based on that, we restructured the AI working group in 7 task forces. So one focusing on humans, so human factors in knowledge management, the second on cybersecurity, the third will focus on benchmarking exercise because it was a request from several member states. As AI is used with other technologies, we have a task force focusing on the interfaces with other technologies like robotics and drones, advanced manufacturing. The task force 7 is focusing on safety aspect, trustworthiness. We have a task force focusing on training, and the last one is monitoring what AI technologies are emerging. So the structure of the AI working group is actually reflecting the IAEA structure because we have different departments with different mandates. And I would like to share one information. So the Task Force 7 on Emerging Technologies is conducting webinars. So we implemented a first webinar on 5th of November, and we are looking for volunteers for our next webinar that would be about synthetic data generation for AI training. So if you know anybody, or if you are you have experience, so feel free to contact me. I introduced ISOP award program. So currently we are having 5 categories. So the categories matches with the working groups we have in the ISOP network. So AI, advanced manufacturing, robotics and drones, advanced INC, and we have another category that is innovation in general, because sometimes use case do not fall in one of those categories, and we want it to be inclusive. So we started in 2024 and we will continue next year too. And those use cases have all been deployed at least in one nuclear power plant. It's one of the requirements for this awards program. So, and in 2 weeks from now, the Office of our Director General is organizing the first international symposium on AI and nuclear energy. So it will be panel-based, live streamed, and each panel will have representative from both AI industry and nuclear sector. So the registration are still open until 26th of November. And we will have several observations, and we will try to have recommendations that will be implemented in future IAEA work. So there will be side events, exhibits, networking events. So the current agenda looks like this, and the ISOP AI working group will have one side event on the 3rd of December during lunch break. So if you are attending these events, feel free to join, and it will be catered. So I included this just in case you are interested. So it's the list of responsible that you are free to contact if you want to join us. So that's conclude my presentation, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Nelly. Thank you very much. We really appreciate those insights. And a brief reminder to all of you, you can add questions in the chat at any time, and we'll gather them for the Q&A session after the next speakers. And thank you very much, Nell. I'll present now the next speaker. Our next speaker is Christine Lee, Principal Technical Leader at the Electric Power Research Institute, EPRI. Her work focuses on data science and software applications for nuclear, with prior experience in predictive modeling and uncertainty analysis. Christine holds degrees in bioengineering and biostatistics. Christine, welcome. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Carla. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. And if we can get some help with driving the slides, thank you. Okay, thank you very much, everyone, for inviting me here today. Very excited to talk about unlocking the power of large language models. Next slide, please. So about us, EPRI was founded in 1972 with a mission to advancing safe, reliable, affordable, and clean energy for society through global collaboration, innovation, and applied research. We have over 50 years of experience in topics ranging from decarbonization to grid modernization to low carbon resources. And as a nonprofit, we are chartered to serve the public benefit with guidance from an independent advisory council. Next slide. So as mentioned, I lead our data-driven decision-making program in nuclear. The main idea behind data-driven decision-making, or as we call 3DM, is to facilitate and leverage the application of data science in the nuclear power industry. We do that by launching early-stage activities in the nuclear sector. We provide support for other R&D programs at EPRI as they try to leverage data science to solve industry issues. And then we identify and support key strategic initiatives and activities to enable the application of data science in the industry. You can find some more information on the AI-specific projects in the link on this slide, as well as the contact information for me and also our program manager, Rob Austin. Next slide. So specifically for today's topic, we wanted to talk about first, what is a large language model if we're going to unlock one? So a large language model is a class of AI tools known as generative AI. And so the rapid development and ease of use of generative AI tools really has the potential to be a big disruptor in many industries, including the energy sector. So in this capacity, generative AI is a conversational tool that is trained on billions of documents on the internet, and it can be really useful for helping get over writer's block in a bunch of different ways. So it can help with generating conversation or ideation starters. It can help with programming tasks such as code completion. It's good with automation support, such as filling out forms. And it's also good at just very basic data analysis and summarization. However, you need to keep in mind that large language model tools, such as ChatGPT, are really more optimized for mimicking human conversation. So they're definitely not a replacement for your subject matter expert or software developer. And they're definitely not aware of your data security or legal policies. Next slide. So EPRI has kicked off its generative AI work a couple of years ago, and specifically for this group, I must mention my co-principal investigators in this, Dr. Lea Boch and Dr. Agnieszka Szaszumska. So in this slide, we have a high-level overview of our vision for testing large language models, and this is done via two parallel paths. So on the left-hand side of the screen, we're looking at enterprise tools that can really help enhance search on EPRI.com. And the really important thing that we need to keep in mind here is that for such a tool, it really needs to leverage our current enterprise infrastructure, be able to protect our R&D IP, and also be able to provide additional value in order to find the best possible answer when searching our website. So while the effort on the left-hand side is a lot more infrastructure focused, particularly our work on the right with Dr. Lea Boch and Dr. Agnieszka Szaszumska focuses a lot more on the large language models themselves. So particularly, we are interested in being able to train them into what we call expert systems that can better answer questions about our R&D. We don't want to hear about the general news, we want to hear about technical topics. So popular models such as ChatGPT are really good at everyday human conversation and entertainment. However, there are other models that are more targeted for technical topics, and they can also be further refined with technical subject matter expert and information citation. So for today, I want to talk about our foray into expert systems. One example I'm going to be referencing is a chatbot style app that answers questions very specifically about EPRI public reports about one of our most popular research areas, energy storage. So next slide. Thanks. So really along this parallel path for expert systems, we wanted to summarize our effort the past couple of years in 3 phases. So phase 1 was mostly about initial discovery, and we published our initial considerations in this white paper in the link. It's in the hyperlinked number up here. Really our initial considerations, some potential use cases that you can download, and really the major takeaway from this paper is the concept of hallucinations. This is where a large language model can produce human-like text that sounds fluent, but might actually not be factually correct. Phase 2 also saw our first use case, which was the energy storage chatbot, as well as our on-prem testing with GPU hardware. I really want to point out that our phase 2 marked the start of, and to this day, continued collaboration with our legal and InfoSec teams to really review and revise our internal guidance on the risks and the benefits of large language models that we're exploring. Phase 3 is very exciting because this is where we start iterating on a lot of the internal proofs of concept for a wide variety of cross-functional use cases. And this continues into 2025 and for 2026. Next slide. Thank you. So remember earlier about how I discussed for the ability of large language models to be improved, really particularly when it comes to hallucination mitigation and better information retrieval. This is very important when we want to talk about asking questions about our R&D. So there are 3 techniques that are available for model improvement. They're categorized from left to right here with prompt engineering, fine tuning, and then grounding. So each one of these techniques accomplishes a different type of task and also has an associated cost benefit. So that's represented by the level of effort with the dollar signs next to the tasks. So which one you decide to focus on really depends on your end goal. Prompt engineering is the process by which a user learns to ask more targeted questions. So for example, you can tell the LLM that you want it to say, I don't know, if sufficient information isn't available. Engineering prompts are, a medium expensive task to implement, really just because it requires a lot of testing and a lot of prompt iterations to get the desired results. Now, on the other hand, in the middle column, we have fine-tuning. This is a process by which you can teach an LLM more industry-specific lingo to increase its technical fluency. These methods are generally fairly resource-intensive because they require a lot of model retraining. So this requires a lot of time and hardware. Now, on the other side, on the right-hand side, or not on the right-hand side, but lower in this fine-tuning box, there is the option of reinforcement learning. So this is where it actually puts a human into the feedback loop. A really well-known example of this is CAPTCHA. So every time you see a stoplight or a bike or a boat while you're shopping, you're helping verify that you're a person logging into your account. And that actually helps train the model. That's reinforcement learning. So finally, on the right-hand side, the final model improvement method is grounding. It's also known as retrieval augmentation, and that's the acronym for that is RAG. This really helps with information retrieval. Personally, it's one of my favorite techniques because it's easy to implement and it's really good for hallucination mitigation. So instead of retraining the model, what you do instead is you direct the ability for it to speak human language to just a very specific set of or library of documents for the Q&A. So better yet, you can actually maintain this library and update it at any time. And you can even put documents in there that are outside the training data of the model. So at EPRI, we are focused on the techniques that are highlighted in the red boxes, not because of their lower cost or level of effort, but really because we have assessed that it's more for risk mitigation and also for our desired goals for accurate information retrieval over simply having a chatbot sound technical in the answer. We want it to be factually correct. Next slide, please. So I'd like to talk a little bit more about my favorite technique, which is the retrieval augmentation. I think it's a really strong example for the title of this presentation, which is unlocking the power of LLMs. So in the basic retrieval augmentation generation pipeline, you have a database of documents that's split into chunks, and then it's vectorized using any embedding model of your choice. And this results in what is called a vector store database. So when a user makes a query, this embedded query is then used to retrieve the relevant chunks of the text from the vector store. These chunks then are placed together in context with the user query and then fed to the LLM prompt. So then the LLM then generates an answer based on the contextualized prompt. Next slide, please. Now, I'd like to mention that this RAG, or retrieval augmentation system, can be modified a couple different ways along the pipeline. So first of all, you can improve the actual information retrieval at the heart of the RAG system, and that means trying different retrieval methods. You can resort the results to pick the most relevant ones. You can index the vector store differently. You can do different lengths of embedding texts. In that method, smaller chunks have a lot more granularity. However, larger chunks provide a lot more context for the answer. So there are many choices for your embedding models for vectorization of text. And then furthermore, the embedding model itself can actually be fine-tuned for your domain-specific application. In our testing, if we fine-tune the embeddings, it tends to improve the retrieval of relevant documents by almost up to 10%. So secondly, for a prompt used for RAG, this is what contains the system instructions, and that can actually have a huge effect on the quality of answers. So just by changing the wording slightly in how you ask the question, you can do things such as specify that the model don't make up answers. You can tell it to be concise. The chatbot's behavior will differ, and then prompts can be fine-tuned to provide a much better RAG outcome. Last but not least, the actual specific model itself, the size of the model, or what is known as quantization, and the choice of the parameters can also be optimized for performance. There's a technique called adapter tuning, which is as opposed to the other method, fine tuning, is now an option in adapter tuning. That's a strategy that actually involves injecting new layers into the original network of the LLM, and the weights of the original network are not touched. Really what is happening is new layers are, adaptive layers are initialized at random. In standard fine-tuning, the new top layer and the original weights are actually co-trained, so it's computationally expensive. All right, so how do we track whether or not any of these modifications can actually improve the performance of a RAG system? So in our case, we had about 30 question and answer pairs that were provided to us by energy storage experts. And they are people who know the documentation that we provided to the LLM very well. Obviously, more questions and answers could help produce better assessment. So actually, you can use an LLM to synthesize new questions and answers based on the document chunks that you've given it. So by using this method, you can actually generate up to 10 or 100 times more queries to test. Now, I do want to emphasize that even though you can synthetically generate questions and answers to test your large language model, this approach should only augment the work of a subject matter expert. It really should not replace it. Next slide, please. So in our strategy into our initial exploration of large language models, we are really only using ones that we can train on premise with a limited Q&A to any cloud models. We really want to do things on-prem because everything is run locally and completely private, including our data and the prompts themselves. So for any of our cloud testing, we only use Q&A in the public domain, and it's only done via our secure instance in the Azure Playground. I mean, there are trade-offs between using cloud and on-prem applications. So for example, on-prem hardware can be really expensive, and it does require specific internal IT support to maintain and deploy. Cloud-based solutions can be cheaper, and they're really great if you're doing quick proofs of concept without the need for a full infrastructure. However, they might limit the amount of text that you can process, and that's a concept known as token limiting. A token is a unit of a word that a large language model processes. For our on-prem testing, we employed an NVIDIA DGX-2. So if you're going to use a large language model, you need a really large computer. So the DGX-2 is a high-performance machine that has about a total of 512 gigabytes of RAM and a combined total of over 90,000 cores. A couple years ago, we had our first successful deployment on the DGX-2 with the smallest version of Llama 2, which has about 7 billion parameters. Since then, we've also been able to successfully test Llama 2 with 13 billion parameters. Just for context, ChatGPT's GPT 3.5 model is 175 billion parameters. Next slide. So for our on-prem testing, we used Llama 2, 7B, and 13B. And then we use ChatGPT answers as a baseline. So after refining some of the techniques that I just told you about, our model answers match the ground truth in our energy storage Q&A on average of about 90%, as opposed to ChatGPT's 46%. And then with additional human review, we actually found that ChatGPT's answers are really responsive and fluent, but they didn't actually really answer the question. So the actual accuracy rate was more about 30%. So human review of our trained model showed an accuracy of about little over 80%. So I think my slide might have disappeared.
Yeah. Laurentia, are you there?
Just a minute. It was
No,
my
just-
PowerPoint slides that were crashing. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no
Um,
problem at all. And
Don't
I
froze
realized
for me too.
I'm recovering. I think now you got it, right? Is it?
Yes,
have
it's
it now?
back. Thank you.
yes, thank you so much. I realize I'm coming up on time soon, so maybe we'll go to the next slide. Next slide after that. So really just in this example, I just wanted to show you some specific examples of the types of questions that we were asking and the types of techniques that we were using. So really the point of this is I wanted to show, GPT generally was responsive and had a lot to say, but wasn't technically correct with the real subject matter expert answer. But I also want to point out that, our testing being grounded wasn't always perfect as well. So there's a lot of areas for improvement. I do want to point out that the difference between, so notice how in the second question, our model gets it wrong. Our model is the middle column. But if you ask the same question again, but with a prompt of, can you please specify the units of how we want the answer, it actually does get the answer correct. Next slide. I'll go through this really quickly. This was just an example of us asking a question that we knew the answer was not in the text. So here, if you just plain ask GPT or plain ask the Llama model, what is the answer? You can see that they talk quite a bit, but they don't actually give a correct answer because the answer is not there. Now, if you go to the next slide, we asked Llama to do information retrieval, and we had several configurations of prompts. So the correct answer, again, is that the material doesn't actually provide the answer. And as you can see here, there are some instances where the model that we refined was very chatty and tried to give an answer. But my absolute favorite is actually answers 1 and 3, particularly with 1 because it says why it doesn't know. It says that it doesn't know because it wasn't given any information. Next slide. So I know I talked a bit about our energy storage example today, but we're definitely working on other proofs of concept in nuclear. And this is what we're working on here in 2025 and beyond. Next slide. And basically, I just wanted to end with, we're doing a lot of work in this area. It's pretty exciting. And if available, you can join our Open Power AI Consortium. I just have a few slides listed here. And again, I just want to thank everyone for inviting me in today to talk about unlocking the power of large language models. We've definitely learned a lot the past couple of years. So thank you for letting me share that story.
Thank you very much, Christine. It's very informative, and thank you very much for sharing with us what you're doing, EPRI. And we now move into the Q&A session. Hands raised will go first, then we'll take questions from the chat. Anyone? No hands raised. So I'm reading here on the Q&A. The first question is from Marwa Hanan. She asks, I think, for Nelly. What opportunities does the agency offer for students or newcomers who are passionate about this field, but still have limited experience? Great question.
Yes. So thank you for the question, Marwa. As I mentioned during my presentation, we are welcoming any type of profile. So we are accepting members from different member states, different levels. Why? Because we are trying to define, let's say, activities, and also we have like reviewing activities. So for example, for some of our activities, we receive pretty good comments from newcomer countries, because if and when we are drafting a publication and they cannot understand, then I think it will be complicated. And most of the time they are asking questions that are really difficult to answer, because they are questioning the fundamentals behind the answers. So my answer is yes, we are welcoming, and feel free to contact if you wish to join.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Nelly. Now the next question is for Christine. Christine, it's made by Chen. She asks, human learns through understanding. Models imitate through statistics. What is your view on the comprehension capabilities of future models?
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much for that question. It's actually quite existential. Personally, my view on this, whether or not you're a human or a machine learning, it really depends on what data you're given. That's why I talked so much today in terms of unlocking the power of large language models on the data that it's getting fed. Just like humans, we can learn through different ways. Some people are more visual, some people are more they need to hear something. Some people need to write things down. That's why I talked about the 3 different methods for large language models. It's how you're taking the data in. So with regards to future model capabilities, I think it will really depend much more on how well you curate the data that you feed it. It's a very old engineering adage, correct? Garbage in, garbage out.
Thank you very much, Christine. Now, another to Nelly from Chen as well. The deep integration of AI and the nuclear power presents not only opportunities, but also challenges. Building a new type of talent ecosystem to match this integration is a key. In this regard, what recommendations or measures do you have for utility?
That's a good question. So currently we are, actually I have one clarification. I need one clarification, because the recommendation is about the integration, building the new type of talent, right? Or is it about the challenges?
I think it's, yes, I will read again this part. Building a new type of talent ecosystem to match this integration is a key. In this regard, what recommendations or measures do you have for utilities?
Okay, thank you very much for this. So we are trying to address it in the AI working group under what we call the Task Force 6. So currently we are focusing on building training programs, but not only for new commerce, less experienced practitioners. So we really want to have a modular approach with modules for different levels of experience. We are still working on it, so we are not yet able to make recommendations. I'm sorry, but it is the focus of what we do in Task Force 6. So I invite you to maybe join us and see what we are doing with on this topic. But unfortunately, currently, I do not have clear recommendations. The measures we are doing at the IAE is building a training program.
Thank you very much, Noise. Now, another question here. This is also for Nelly. Is Kenya a member of IAEA? Eu myself, International Atomic Energy Agency, Kenya. The
Kenya,
country.
yes. Yeah, yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. And another from Cher Mohammed. Thank you for the presentations. I'm from Sudan. I work at the Seaports Authority and I'm currently pursuing a master's degree in nuclear security in Bulgaria. Can I use ChatGPT to obtain information on nuclear security in Sudan as a case study? My background in nuclear security in Sudan is limited to 1 year. I think, I don't know, maybe for both of you.
I mean, sure, I can take a stab at answering it first. As I emphasized in our phase 2 of exploring the use of large language models, this is actually really a question that you should bring to your legal and information security team. There are considerations that you need in order to use an open source type of tool, and it should follow your company's policies. So that's what I would answer.
Thank you, Christine. I would take the chance here and ask you one more question. How can collaboration between research institutions and industry can accelerate the AI adoption in nuclear energy?
To me, that is, how can
Yes.
collaboration? Collaboration is really essential. I mean, a big thing that I emphasize is that, and it's actually almost a little bit to answering the other question in terms of how to help with the task force. Data scientists need context. We have algorithms, but we don't have context for the algorithms. So collaboration is really important, especially connecting the algorithms with subject matter experts who can really help refine what the answers mean.
Thank you very much. Now this one is for Nelly. Nelly, you mentioned that we need to overcome technical and organizational barriers, implement AIs in the power plants. And how does the agency support member states in adopting AI technologies for nuclear operations for real?
So currently what we are trying to do is to implement activities in the different areas. So we are focusing on performance, on safety, security. So we do not have yet public activities on safeguards, but the Department of Nuclear Safety and Security has activities on safety security. So Division of Security is currently implementing a lot of activities on the use of AI for nuclear security. As you know, the relationship between AI and cybersecurity is bidirectional. So you can use AI for cybersecurity, but in the other hand, you have the cybersecurity of AI. So they are implementing several activities. They are also we have a joint CRP, so collaborating research project on the use of AI for SMRs. They implemented a technical meeting this year. They will have a subsequent technical meeting on the cybersecurity aspect, and also it will be covered during the CyberCon 2026. The Department of Safety is currently, the Division of Safety is currently analyzing the guides, so SSG 39 and SSG 51. 39 in general INC aspect, design of INC to integrate innovative technologies and AI. And 51 is about human factors engineering. So we are trying to also add AI considerations in this. So last week, there was a technical meeting in Korea focusing on the safety considerations and the human factors engineering considerations. And next year we are planning to, it's not yet approved, but we are planning to have a technical meeting in December covering all the task forces of the AI working group. So we will have a discussion on knowledge management, human factors engineering, cybersecurity, safety, trustworthiness, training, emerging technologies, and interfaces with other technologies like robotics and drone, etc. And in parallel, we are conducting some webinars to help maybe making new connections or sharing experience from practitioners. So this is what we are doing at the level of the agency. So as you know, the IAEA is not a designer or does not design AI systems. We are trying to disseminate the information needed by the member states in order to take responsible decisions when considering deploying AI.
Thank you very much. We have one hand raised here from Lemia Fiala. Go ahead, Lemia. You can ask your question.
Good afternoon, good morning. How are you? Thank you so much, Christine and Nelly. It's really nice. I'm interested in Christine project. As I understood, it's started like 2 years ago. And I wonder, do you have any plan for the outcome and how you will assist that you reached your objectives of the unlocking? It's a very interesting topic, actually, unlocking the large language models. How do you started 2 years, and do you have a plan for how many more years that you will go on, and how you will achieve your objectives, or what is the end objectives that you have? Thank you so much.
Sure, that's a really good question. So in data-driven decision-making program, we actually have a 5-year plan for AI. Investigating good use cases for large language models is part of that. You don't just want to use a large language model just because you can. I think it's very important to pick a topic where it can really help in the plant. So examples are, for example, helping make support refute tables or doing OE search, other types of knowledge management. In part of the 5-year plan that we have, we will continue to investigate different use cases for how to use large language models, but that isn't the only thing that we do. We do want to explore a lot more with computer vision and how it can help in the plant, such as, for example, using footage from drones. There's a lot of footage from drones, but that means a human needs to review it. It can help if AI can assist the operator to direct themselves to a specific part of, say, the footage to do further human verification. Another area that we're looking into is physics-informed neural networks, particularly with identification of anomalies. And finally, in the 5-year plan for AI, we are looking to really share a lot of these results and educate and continue to collaborate with other agencies.
And you think, do you have any, I mean, worries that also that the AI will have self-controlled, I mean, to be self-controlled? Do you think that there is any threats like that for the AI when you correct the AI, I mean, like the ChatGPT and the Gemini and these large language models, it will be like self-controlled, and is there any threat, do you think, from your experience?
So with regards to AI will only ever be an assistant to a human operator. The AI does not replace human operators at plants at all. So it's just there to assist with some of the more taxing types of tasks, but it definitely does not control anything.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lemia. Now, thank you to everyone for the thoughtful questions, and many thanks to Nelly and Christine for the clear and insightful answers. This has been a rich discussion today, but now I will hand off to Florencia for closing. Florencia, back to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Carla. And one last favor to Nelly and Christine. Could you help us to drop both of your email addresses on the chat that maybe participants can get connected to you, or if they have further questions or some members that they want to know more about EPRI's activities or ISOP activities, how to join or related events? We would really appreciate that. So we have now Christine's email on the chat, and we'll have also soon Nelly's email as well. So thank you so much to both of you. And so thank you to all our participants for joining us today's session on AI and digital twins in nuclear power, transforming construction, operation, and analytics. We've explored how these technologies are reshaping the nuclear industry, from productivity, maintenance, and operation efficiency to advanced analytics and decision-making. A special thank you to our distinguished speakers, Nelly from IEA and Christine from EPRI, for sharing their expertise and insights. Your contributions have provided valuable perspectives on the opportunities and challenges of integrating AI and digital twins into nuclear systems and even beyond. Because today, Nelly also talked about cost and financial activities. As we move forward, let's continue fostering collaboration and innovation to ensure that emerging technologies strengthen safety, sustainability, and performance in the nuclear energy worldwide. Please stay connected with Winnie and Win for Peace for upcoming sessions and initiatives, and we look forward to seeing you at our next event. Thank you once again for being part of this initiative, and we wish you to have a very wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much again. And I don't know if Mrs. Eva, would you like to conclude or add something before we close the session?
Well, a big thank you from my side as well. This was a wonderful seminar, a lot of information, a lot to digest. And I can see it has also raised a lot of interest amongst the audience. So a big thank you from my side. And I will attend the conference, the IAEA conference in 2 weeks' time, at least virtually, and I'm looking forward to that. So a big thank you to the speakers and a big thank you to the organizers. Have a great day from my side as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Eva. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.